Well, everything happens for a reason. Welcome to the Shadow Realm. I would like to say this is my first live, but it's actually not. It's my second live, and I messed around and deleted the video. Now, part of me wants to say I intentionally did that, and the other part of me wants to say that Spirit said delete the video because you were everywhere. You had to get your, nervousness and your jitters off, and now you have a solid message. And it seems to be that way a lot of times when I make my videos, even when I was editing my videos before that I've posted up. One time I had a video, it was 2 hours, and I was editing it and to clip it to get to the point. And I got so frustrated that I gave up. And when I reopened my phone, somehow the video was edited and it's posted, and you guys have watched it, and thank you for watching. And I was amazed because the video came off really well and the story was told really well. It was the video, where I was crying and I was upset, the "Where is my husband" video. And I just realized that, I was so excited that I was able to be able to come onto live, and, this is what I've been waiting for is, I don't have to do these recorded videos and edit. I was having a hard time. I just wanted to be able to go live and, do it this way. And so I just did. And, I had so many different messages. So if you were there and you seen it, you were there, and now we're here. And I realized after I got off the live and I deleted it, I realized when it came to the live highlight, this is my story, and this is about the succession of what it is that I'm going through, what I've been through, where I'm at, and where I'm trying to get to. And the last time y'all seen me, the last video that you actually seen me in, I laid it all out on the table. I was crying. I was upset. Where is my husband? We're having a situation, and, welcome to the Shadow Realm. We were, arguing and fighting, and we were putting hands on each other, and shit got seriously domestic, and enough was enough. And, he went MIA. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he came back after 2 weeks, and, there was some more police interaction, and I'm over all of what happened. Let's just leave it as saying that it lost us our home. And if you've been here and you've been watching, then I was tired. I was tired. I didn't want to go through no more. And I'm on this new spiritual journey, and I have to accept that I'm wherever I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. I cross paths with whom I'm supposed to cross paths, and I'm supposed to just be woke enough to understand that I don't understand what the spiritual journey is, but I'm learning every day. But after I finished that live, I realized that I'm supposed to tell my story in the way, and it's continuous, and it's my story, and you guys are going through it. And there was just somebody in here, and they were talking, and it kind of threw me off. And the live is new to me, so I have to get used to that. But this is an update, and we're gonna call this standing on all 10. That's what we're going to call this. Standing on 10 for ourselves. What's the point? What's the purpose? I keep hearing that from people. Why do I keep going through what I'm going through? Not just me, you. Why are you going through what you're going through? Why do you keep finding yourself in the same place? And after I finished that last live and I seen the live highlights, I realized it really is about putting ourselves first. That's what we must do. We can't stop. For those of you who are chosen, for those of you who are woke, for those of you who know that you're on a spiritual path and you're supposed to be helping people, you're supposed to be doing what? What it is that you're supposed to be doing, what you're being led to do. I'm your shadow walker. I walk through the pain. I walk through the same pain that all y'all go through. At the same time that you're going through it, I'm going through it. But I walk through the shadows to come out the other side so that I can expose what people like us go through. Why people like us think the way that we think, why we do the things that we do. We are not conventional. We grew up with violence. That stuff is normal. And we live in a world that says it's not normal to go outside somebody's head. But people listen. But then there's consequences to your actions. I am here to go through my experiences, your experiences, and we're going to figure out how to be who we are supposed to be. We want to be better people. We want better in our lives. We want love in our lives. So why do we sabotage it? We want honesty in our lives. So why do we lie? Why do we cheat? Why do we deceive? Why do some of us just don't be straight up and down? Matter of fact. Why are other of us so matter of fact? Why is everything a problem with everybody? Why are we so caught up on why it's a problem? I don't know. I just know that I'm your shadow walker. And I'm not afraid to admit that anymore. I'm not afraid to say that I'm a seer. I'm not afraid to say that I know things. I'm not afraid anymore. And I don't care what any of you think about me. Am I crazy? Okay, I'm crazy. Am I a weirdo? Okay, I'm a weirdo. Am I a witch? Ooh, okay, whatever it is that you want to say, think, or feel. And a lot of you got to get used to that. People are always going to say something about you. People are going to feel some type of way about you, think something about you, say something about you. So what? If you watch some of my other videos, I told y'all 6 months ago, be you. And 6 months later, I've learned something different. I keep telling people every day, live in your truth, live in your truth. You know what? I need to start taking my advice and live in my truth. Be who it is that you are. Someone is always going to feel some type of way. How do you feel? How do you feel about who you are? Are you so worried about how people perceive you? What people think about you? What people think about the clothes that you wear, the hair that you have? You worried about the image? Are you worried about being a righteous person? Are you worried about being the truth, living in the truth? What are we really worried about? What are we really talking about here? So what I realized after that live is my life hurts. Remember that? It hurts. It hurts to be me. Y'all want to talk about smile ice? Live a little ice? Man, listen. It hurts. I don't even know how to smile, for real. For real. I don't know what makes me happy. My life has been for everybody else. My life has never been for me. And I'm not afraid to admit that no more. I've lied. Yes, I absolutely have lied. I've lied to a lot of you today. I'm going to lie to you, some of you tomorrow. And here's the quickest lie that I'm going to tell. Are you okay? Yup. No, I'm not okay. I'm falling apart inside. I am dying inside. I am crumbling inside. I am tired. I am over it. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to be homeless no more. I don't want to be in a weird ass relationship no more. I don't want to give my time to people that don't listen. I don't want to take my time to show nobody nothing. I don't want to do none of that no more. And I want to know, God, why have you given me this job? Why am I the one that's tasked to walk through the pain? Why did you say, hey, you know what? Here's this platform, here's YouTube. Talk to the people, let the people know what time it is. Flip some tarot cards. That was a beginner. I'm not a tarot card reader. I don't need them cards. Spend time with me, spend some time in my energy. Let me spend some time in yours and find out the type of conversations we'll end up having. A lot of you who have subscribed to my page have actually gotten the opportunity to know me, to be in my presence, to talk with me. Ask yourself, why did we have the type of conversations we had? We don't know each other from a hole in the wall. And you felt compelled. You felt it was safe to tell me your story. You don't know me. Oh, but I watch you. I've seen you. So you formed a judgment. You formed a perspective and you judge me based on what your eyes see, what your brain thought. I see and what your brain thought isn't what the next person's eyes see and what their brain thought. And it ain't what my eyes see and it ain't what my brain thinks. But somehow we are here in the shadow realm together. My relationship is over. Peep the live highlight. Deuces, bro. I know my worth. That last live, I was crying. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't scared. I wasn't embarrassed to show y'all my pain. It was time. I was opening it up. And on my last live that I messed around and deleted, I apologized. Collective, I'm apologize to you guys again. I gatekeep. I was scared. I was scared to say that I am this person. I was scared to say that I'm on this new spiritual path. I was scared to be open and honest about it. So I hid behind the images that I'm creating because I didn't want to come on video. I hid behind the fact that people had so much to say about what I look like. I don't care what you feel about me. And before I used to say, I don't care about what people think. And you know what the truth was? I did. I don't now. I don't now. I don't. And why don't I? And for those of you who pop in and pop out, and those of you who stick around, and those of you who come back later and watch, I don't want you to misconstrue the message. I care a lot. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't care, I wouldn't take the time to do the things that I'm doing for the shadow realm. And the shadow realm is not just for me. It is for you, for y'all, for my collective, my soul tribe, my soul family, the people who go through the things that I have gone through, the things that you go through, the hurt, the pain. And we hurt. The truth of the matter is we hurt a lot. We hurt all the time. And on my last video that you actually see me on, I was crying. It hurts to be me. And the fast forward that what ended up happening, I lost my home. My ex-husband ended up coming back. We ended up getting in a car, trying to go across the country, being door dashers, and escaping the reality of life, escaping the reality of the mess that we made in life. I don't know, was he accommodating me on my spiritual journey? I don't know, was I accommodating him on his escape? We both was escaping reality. That's a fact. And that's what a lot of people do in relationships. You hold on for way too long. A lot of people say you don't get married to get divorced. A lot of people don't give up easy. A lot of people say it's cheaper to keep her. I don't care what a lot of people have to say. It's about what I'm here saying. And what I'm here saying is on December 31st, New Year's Eve, I got in a car with my ex-husband instead of just simply going to a shelter. Instead of saying, bro, for the past 6 months, you have done me the dirtiest. You have broken me down. I was happy. I was getting happy. I was getting my life back. The sun was shining. I felt like I had worse. I was discovering new things. I was opening up myself. I was being comfortable to be me. And it was scary. And so I went back to what was comfortable. I went back to why start a new relationship. Remember, I ended up with that married man. Didn't know it. Found out. That was a Rizzy. Done. It's a Reynolds. It's over. And then my ex-husband came back, and 6 months later, my life was miserable. I was unhappy. We were fighting all the time. He was cheating on me all the time. He went MIA, and when he returned with the Power Rangers. That's what I'm gonna call them, the Power Rangers, because he done sold a lie to his family. That's the truth. To get what it was he wanted, he told a whole lie about things that never happened, things that didn't even exist. Was we putting hands on each other? Yes, we was. Did I cut up all his stuff? Yes, I did. I'm not even gonna say what is it that he did to me. What is it? We know what we did. We know what happened. And needless to say, when he showed back up, and they said, you know what, we're done with all y'all shit. It's too much drama. And so now y'all don't have a home. Now what? And all that time that I was arguing with him before, I'm done. That whole 6 months that I said I was done. I don't want to do this no more. I'm going to leave. I could just go back to the shelter because I did it before. I didn't really want to do none of that. I didn't want to go through that again. I didn't go through all of that just to end up back at square one again. And that's my truth. So the hope that I held out for, it wasn't what's good. Welcome to the shadow realm. The hope that I held out for, it wasn't hope. It was survival. I didn't get in that car wholeheartedly saying, let's go to California, because I was like, yes, my marriage is gonna, no. I'm gonna be real about it. No. 50% of me was like, perhaps we will be able to work this out. The obstacles is out of the way. The things that, be in my way that stop him from getting my attention, they're out of the way. The things that are in his path that stop, you know what I'm trying to say. It'd just be me, him, and this damn dog that was in the back seat. And we're gonna go across the country and we're gonna put our marriage back together. I had hopes, wishes, and dreams. And the other half of me was like, you know what? I have hopes, wishes, and dreams that I want a better life. I don't know where that better life is. I know that I had visions. I don't know if those visions were California. I don't know if those visions was Florida. I don't know. When you're going through an awakening journey, things come to you and there's no manual, there's no script. And unless you have somebody who's on a spiritual path helping you, you have to figure out the clues on your own. And I'm hard-headed, I'm stubborn, and you could say, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate you saying that. But I'm a stubborn person. You could say, don't go over there because whatever. Well, I need to go over there and find out what you're talking about. And if you say don't go over there because there was an avalanche, well, you know what? GPS told me that was the quickest way, and I'm gonna try to figure out. We all do it. But needless to say, the other 50% of me got in that car to go pursue my hopes, wishes, and dreams. My kids are grown. My grandchildren got parents. I'm not the parent. I've been in that position for too long. I readily accepted that position. I readily love all of my grandchildren, and I did everything that I did because that's what I was supposed to do, right, wrong, or indifferent. But at the end of the day, I now have my own life. And at that moment, that all those doors were being shut, well, all we had was a car and all we had was each other. That's what I thought. And then my son said, you know what, Ma, you have done enough for everybody. Here, take this money, get in the car, and go. Go as far as you can go. And I thought it was a sign. I thought it was a sign. I can laugh now. I wasn't laughing then. Trust and believe me, I wasn't laughing then. I was like, yes, okay, we're supposed to go. No, the truth of the matter was we had an agreement. The agreement was we was gonna get in this car and we was gonna DoorDash. And if the car broke down, we was gonna DoorDash to fix the car. And if we needed to eat, we was gonna DoorDash to eat. And we was gonna DoorDash to put gas in the car. And we was gonna get the next day to the next day to the next day. And then it clicked in my head. When we get to California, what are we supposed to do? Where are we going? What are we running from? Hi, hello, I'm woke. I had blinders on at that current moment and I wasn't paying attention. I was in survival mode yet again and I was spinning and I was crashing out. I'm going to go in whatever direction somebody takes me because they're saving me. That's the truth. And on this journey, the car ended up breaking down. We broke down completely. No communication. We're in this little car with a dog. We don't speak. We don't communicate. We don't function. We don't do nothing. Y'all caught that in the middle. We don't do nothing. What is our point? What is our purpose? I don't know. But we kept telling each other that somehow life was going to be better when we got on the other end. And a very few short days later, I woke up in this car because we're sleeping in a car. We slept in a car for over a month. Nothing started making sense to me at all. And I was not the one in control. This is not my car. I'm not allowed to touch it. I'm not allowed to drive it. I wasn't even allowed to sit in the car. This man got out the car and I got out the car. Dummy me. The car doors is locked. We're right here. What did you lock? Whatever. I'm not even going to go through it. I'm not even going to go through it. I lived it. And it was ridiculous. It really was. The whole thing was ridiculous. And I now take the blinders off and I realize that everything happens for a reason. I went on that journey for a reason. I'm not going to say, oh, I don't have love for my ex-husband. I have tremendous love for my ex-husband. I am no longer in love with my husband or my ex-husband. See how I constantly say my husband? I have to learn how to not say that because it's the truth. He was my husband. He became my ex-husband. And we thought that we could get back together. I don't know. I don't know what the hell we was doing, but needless to say, you'll get there. A real person, you'll get there. Just keep putting in the work. Keep putting in the work. And what the work is, I couldn't honestly tell you because I be everywhere. I came creating the shadow realm for a reason, and I started gatekeeping. I was doing shadow work and trying to work on myself and trying to improve myself. And then I got scared about what people was going to think about what I'm doing here, about my image, what people could say about me. Don't worry about none of that. And don't worry about your content, whatever your message is, whatever it is that you want to put on your channel, somebody will watch it. Believe that. Believe that. If you have a passion for it, just do it. Go for it. And don't sit around and plan. Planning takes up too much time. But there's certain things you do have to plan and execution, but feel what I'm saying in the interim, in the here and the now. If there's something you really want to do with life, formulate a plan, but don't get caught up in the plan, in the process, or you won't get no place. Just go for it. Take a leap of faith. Jump. I did. And I can't fly, but I can swim. But anyway, I'm not afraid to say anymore. So yeah, and there was one point I think I don't know, was we in Arkansas? I don't know, was we in Tennessee? I don't know because I lost track of reality. And I was like, I don't want to do this no more. Something's not right. Nothing is right. I want to go home. Home. Mind you, I left home on December 31st, 2025. It's March 11th, March 12th, 2026. I haven't been home. I don't have a home. This is not my home. I'm in the shelter in New York. So what happened? The car broke down. We broke down. The car broke down. The weather broke down. There was a lot. And I'll get to my trip and some other videos. But in the here and now, this is about that relationship. This is about what is the purpose? What is the point? What are we supposed to be doing here? And a lot of the people that I came across since I've been on this spiritual journey, every person has the same story. Why me? I'm tired. I want to give up, but I can't. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what I'm doing this for. And I can't tell you what your purpose is. Only you and God know what your purpose is. But you do have a purpose and you do have a point. And I had a conversation with one of the girls that's here in the shelter that I'm in earlier. And in the middle of her talking, I said, yo, I have the ability to go live now, and I'm going to do that. Because we all have the same question. Why? Why me? What must I go through? What is the path that I'm supposed to be on? Why am I being punished? I've changed my life. I try to do better. I've tried to heed my calling. You have done the same thing. Isn't this the same question we all have? Why is life falling apart for me? Why am I at square one again? Why, when I do for other people, why? I'm not even going to sit here and keep going in circles, because I'm just going to cut forward and tell you what I finally figured out. We can't stop. We can't stop. God gave us a task. God gave us an assignment, and we're here to do that. And he's not going to let us stop. That I can guarantee. And I don't know what your path is, and I don't know what your journey is, but I finally realized what we're doing wrong. Everybody could say, I know how to stand 10. I know how to stay 10 toes down. What does that really mean? If you really stop and think about it, what does that really mean? And I need you to understand that standing on 10, you wouldn't be able to stand on 10 for anybody if those 10 wasn't there for you to stand on for yourself. And that is the point. That is the principle, and that is the purpose. You now have to stand up for yourself. You now have to do for yourself. You now have to put yourself first. It's not about how much you love somebody else. It's not about what you could do. It's not about, if they help me, how can I help them? It's not about that no more. And ooh, you're going to get a lot of hate. People are going to talk about you like a dog. But you've been trained for this. People have been talking about you your whole life, haven't they? Keep it real. There's somebody somewhere who don't like what you got on, what you look like, who you're with, how you live your life. Do you smoke? Do you not smoke? Do you do drugs? Do you not do drugs? Everything's a problem with somebody. It's time for you to worry about your problems. What's the problem for you? And so now I woke up, and now here I am in New York. I did not want to be in New York. I don't know why I'm in New York. I don't know why I'm in my hometown. I don't know why I'm in this shelter. None of this is what I could have just left that man and gave up and stopped being in survival mode and just went to the shelter and did what I was already trained to do. I already just went through all that. It shouldn't have taken for me to have to be in a shelter in New York, not understanding I'm in one shelter. My ex-husband was across the river in another shelter. And he's not from New York. He don't know nothing about New York. We get here, you would think that, he would you know, interact with me, stay in contact with me, speak with me. Nobody. I'm not saying come here and don't meet people. I'm not saying come here and don't form a life, because if New York is where it's supposed to be, then it is. But at the same time, when I got here, I already knew, like, it was over between me and him. It was absolutely over. He don't wish to want to be in a relationship. I just make things easy. I'm just like a glorified friend. The last person that you call when nobody else picks up the phone. That's the truth. I'm not even gonna stunt. I'm not hurt. I'm not affected by it no more. I'm not fitting to cry. I'm over that. 5 years. I put in 5 years. 5 years. Off and on. Even after the drama, I married the man. And then I got a divorce from the man. And we went our separate ways, and it was drama, and he abandoned me, and he put me in situations. How did I ever end up back in this situation with him? The truth of the matter is, I was in survival mode. And was life getting good for me? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I was happy, and life was getting good. I didn't like what was going on at that moment, but my life was getting really good. I was happy to wake up every day. I was happy to go through the day. My life was productive. I had things going on with me. I had a schedule. And because the unknown, I didn't know. I started this spiritual awakening and started using tarot cards, and I started seeing things and hearing things. And boy, am I crazy? I don't know. I don't know. I was going through a lot. And here came, Mr. Comfortable, somebody who I already knew what time it was with them. Did I know he was a cheater? I did. Did I know that he wasn't gonna pay me attention? I did. Come on. See how I'm not gonna lie to myself no more. I've grown up in this past 6 months that y'all haven't seen me. I've gone through a lot. I gatekept all the shadow work. I'm sorry. I posted up random little snippets of stuff. I got an 8-part series that's about to come out. I'm no longer going to be scared to be your shadow walker, because it is who I am and it is what I do. And I don't care what nobody thinks or feels about me anymore. And yes, here I am in New York, not knowing why am I in my hometown, not knowing what am I doing here, why am I in this shelter, am I going to be able to find an apartment, am I not going to be able to find an apartment? Woe is me. I'm not doing that no more. And you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to beg and plead for somebody's attention.